Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Kyle. If you guys are subscribers or if you guys are familiar with my videos, then welcome back. This video is a tutorial on my arrangement of Your Song by Elton John. If you haven't seen it yet, then I'll leave a link to the video down in the description, or I'll leave a little card right up here. Is this where it is? Either way, there'll be multiple places to go and find it. So go and find it. It'd be a lot more helpful with this tutorial because I don't really play it true to the original. I'm pretty sure it's in the original key in E flat. So if you haven't seen the video, then go ahead and watch that first, and then we can jump back in this tutorial. All right, so getting into the intro of Your Song by Elton John, it's just 4 chords. I'm going to start off with the chords and where they're placed on the fretboard, and then we can get into the right hand technique. So we're in the key of E flat. And it makes sense why we're in this stupid key later on, but it'll be pretty tough on your hands. It's a pretty good workout, so just try to hang in there. So first chord, E flat. I take my pointing finger and I'm barring the 6th fret of the A and the E string, and my middle finger is going to be on the 7th fret of the C string. And that's the E flat shape right there. I'm not playing the G string. Because we're just picking through this, and I don't really pick the G, but you leave it open because these are the same notes. So if you hit it by accident, it should be fine. Okay, second chord is A flat, and that's going to be up here on the 8th fret, the 8th fret, and your pinky is going to be holding the 11th fret of the A string. So you'll be bar on the 8th fret. And then pinky on the 11th fret right here. Okay. The third chord is a B flat. And we have a bar on the 5th fret with your pointing finger. Middle finger is going to be on the 6th fret of the E string. And the pinky, again, we're using the pinky, is going to be on the 8th fret right here. You can kind of hear the melody coming out already. And we're going to have another A flat chord, but this is going to be pretty different. It's going to be down here. The first one we had was up here. This next one is going to be here. Now in going in order, on the G string, I have my ring finger on the 5th fret. On the C string, I have my pointer finger on the 3rd fret. And my middle finger is on the 4th fret of the E string. And the A string, I leave that open because we don't play it. And I mean, you can try to mute it a little bit. I do sometimes with my middle finger by just rocking it down so that it's just muted like this. So these notes still ring out, but that's kind of muted. So that's what it is. So it's E flat, A flat, B flat with a 9th, I guess, B flat 9, and then A flat. Okay. All right. Now to the picking. So, the melody goes like this. Okay. Okay, so to slow it down, so on that E flat, that first part, our pinky comes in on the 10th fret. So you pick that, and it's a pull off. So it requires a lot of strength with your pinky. So if this hurts, I mean, the best advice is to just keep practicing it and trying to power through it, and eventually your hands will get used to it. It's just kind of building strength up like any other way. Just a lot of practice, and this is kind of like weightlifting for your fingers. So on the 10th fret, you have your pinky, and I pluck it with my middle finger on the right hand. And then a pull off with the pinky. And then with my pointer finger, I hit the 2nd string. And then my thumb hits the 3rd string, spelling out the chord. So it sounds like this. Oops, I did that. Let me do it again. So it goes. And then we repeat the 10th fret on the E string, and then a pull off. Okay? So you just kind of repeat that motion. Except you don't use your thumb on the second time through. You just kind of leave it on the pointer finger. Okay. Now this sets up for the A flat chord. So to go from this shape to this shape, your pinky could kind of act as a break, because we're just picking that first note. So it goes, and then hit the 11th fret with your pinky, so you move up a fret, and then this gives you a split second to go from this shape to A flat, to that bar on the eighth fret. Now this one is just a bar and this, and it doesn't change, so you don't pull off or anything, but it requires a little bit more coordination with your right hand. So once you hit this, so it's a picking of like an in to out type of thing. So it goes first string, fourth string, second string. And again, so you repeat that pattern, except you don't hit that last string. Okay, and I mean, I don't really have a designated finger for each of these. I just kind of, I alternate. My technique isn't like the most precise or anything. It's actually pretty sloppy. But if anything, you could just use 2 fingers if you want. Or you could use your middle finger if you're comfortable with using more fingers. Okay. And then we move on to the B flat. So it's another bar chord. If your hands aren't pumping with blood by now, then you're a monster. So anyway, so we got this B flat on the 5th fret. Now this one, instead of just picking a single note for the first one, I roll with these 3 fingers. So then this is kind of where you're gonna have to get used to picking with these 3 fingers. So I roll. So I'm not picking them all at the same time, right? I'm kind of rolling into it. So if you need to practice that a little bit, start off slow and then kind of build up speed until it just kind of sounds like a harp almost. Okay. So I hit that, and then this note. So the 5th fret of the A string, but it's barred, right? And then my pinky comes in on the 8th fret, but then I do a hammer on and a pull off from the bar and this, so it sounds like this. So that's a little bit harder with the pinky because it's not just a straight pull off. You're having to hammer on and make sure that that note comes out. Otherwise, it'll sound kind of weird and it sounds like you missed something. So again, if you just need to get used to it, then it's a workout. It's pretty tough, but once you get it, it sounds really pretty. So after the pull off, I hit the E string and the C string again to kind of just walk that line down. And then that brings us into the A flat chord right here. Now this on the A flat is where having it be an E flat kind of makes sense because the lowest note is going to be the C, this open C. But so again, like with the shape, I'm just holding these three notes. I'm not playing this one. So be careful when you're picking, otherwise it's going to sound very bad. It's going to have that sound. Unless you're into that type of thing, then by all means. So the A flat, I pick the G and the E string at the same time first. So to kind of give it like that nice harmony. And then with my pointer finger, I pick the C string. And then it's a pull off with your pointer finger over there. And then this E flat chord, which brings us into the first verse. So altogether, it sounds like this. Slow down. Okay, so moving on to the verse. So first, I have an E flat, but now this one already is kind of tricky. I realize that some people might not be able to do this, but so I hold the top 3 strings on the 3rd fret, but I bend my finger up at this joint a little bit, and that mutes the A string here. So for some people, it might be doable. So some others, it might not. So you can feel free to grab it like this with your 3 fingers here. The only reason why I did this is because from the intro, coming from the A flat, my pointer finger is already here. And so all I have to do is just put that down and lift these up. But if, because that transition is kind of hard, but if you can do it, if you can manage to pull it off, then that's great. If not, then you could probably bar and then just try not to hit this string up here, because otherwise it'll be a C minor instead of an E flat. Anyway, so the first chord is is this is this E flat right here, and then the second chord that I play is an E flat suspended. What I'm doing is on the 3rd fret of the E string and the C string, I got that here, and then the 1st fret of the G string. So this is where if you guys played the E flat like this in the first chord, then all you have to do is slide your finger down. So then that's less movement on this end of the chord. But if you guys chose to bar it, then it's going to be a little bit trickier of a move to kind of grab this chord here. But either way, however you guys choose to do it, it'll sound okay. So I played it here because the notes ring into each other pretty nicely, I think. And especially since I'm picking most of the song, it doesn't sound as crunchy as if I was just strumming it, but I'm picking through the chords, so it sounds pretty nice. It sounds like trying to emulate the sound of a piano here. So that's kind of how I did that. Okay, 3rd chord is a B flat, just a standard B flat. So on the 1st and 2nd, the A and the E string, I'm barring the 1st fret with my middle finger. On the C string on the 2nd fret, and then my ring finger is on the 3rd fret of the G string, and that's a B flat. And then from here I go to a G minor. So I just take this finger, leave these fingers the same, and I move this to the E string, 3rd fret. And then the next chord after this is a G minor 7, and all I do is lift this finger up. Okay, so the first part sounds like. Okay, now the next chord is going to be a C minor. So then this is where a little bit more of your hand strength is going to come into play. There's a lot of bar chords, so this muscle is going to get real tender. Anyway, I know mine did. So a C minor. And this is gonna stay here for a while, so get used to holding this bar chord on the third fret, because then you're gonna walk down on the E string from the 6th fret. Okay, so it's a C minor 7, but your pinky's on the E string, 6th fret, and then your ring finger is going to move this note down on the 5th fret, and your middle finger is going to hit that next fret to the A flat, that A flat 9 shape. Okay, so it sounds like this, and the trick is to keep your fingers kind of using your fingertips to play the note. Otherwise, you're gonna mute that string on accident, and it won't sound as good. So it sounds like this C minor. Okay. And then from here we go back into an E flat shape. So again, I use this shape with muting the A string because I'm already from this C minor shape. And all I do is just kind of lift this part of my finger up so that that's muted. Okay, so I have that E flat. And then from here, I go to a B flat. So another B flat shape. And then the chord after this is going to be a G7. So what I do is I leave, kind of like the G minor, so I leave these fingers down, and I take my ring finger, and I move it to the A string, 2nd fret. Okay, so it's a pretty pretty standard chord. So you have the open G, middle finger is on the C string 2nd fret, E string 1st fret, and then A string 2nd fret. Okay? And then I go back to a C minor. Sometimes I leave the G string open, so I'm just barring the bottom 3 strings just so I have a little bit of a open sound with this last one, because I'm not really doing any movement, so I kind of leave it open, so there's a little bit more space. It's not as really whatever you prefer at this point. Okay, and then from the C minor, I go back to the E flat shape. So you could get away with barring that C minor and then just rocking that finger up to get that E flat. And this one, I would recommend, if you can, try to leave this bar, because the next chord is going to be an F minor. And so that's going to be a bar on the 3rd fret, and then your middle finger is going to be on the E string 4th fret, ring finger C string 5th fret. Okay, this F minor, and then the next chord is an A flat 9 again, and so we just remove this, the ring finger, and we got that shape again. So lots of bar chords. Sorry about that, but it sounds pretty. And then the very last chord of the verse is going to be a B flat 9 chord, and so we just take this A flat shape and we move it up 2 frets. And then I use my ring finger on the A string 6th fret to kind of give a suspended. Okay, so all together, this is how the verse sounds. Easily high. Few notes for the verse. So a lot of the picking is just alternate picking with my 3 fingers. So a lot of it is middle, pointer, thumb, and I just grab typically the top 3 strings, so the G, C, and E string, and then because a lot of the movement happens up here, when I grab the B flat, I alternate between the strings. Again, like this isn't exactly how I played it in my original cover. I didn't really think I'd be giving a tutorial on this, so I didn't really stick to one type of picking pattern. But any type of picking that you would do would sound great. And the way I picked the chords too, it would also sound pretty good if you strummed it. So if you're a strummer, then it'll sound good here too. A lot of times with the C minor, so after the G7 in the second half of the chord, the C minor, I throw in this little hammer on and pull off. So all it is I'm picking up the chord. So the C, E, A string, and then on the 5th fret, and then I hammer on and pull off with the pinky, again with the pinky, and then a pull off with the ring finger. Okay, I think I forgot to mention that there's an E flat at the very end leading into the chorus. So instead of the B flat up here, replace that with an E flat. And it's the same E flat that either way. Okay, so getting into the chorus. So the chorus is going to be B flat. So again, with a bar on the 1st fret on the E and A string. Middle finger, 2nd string on the C string, 3rd finger, 3rd fret on the G string. You can tell everybody. So a C minor. And then I play an F minor here again. That this is your song. So it's pretty simple. So just the B flat and then C minor. You're barring the 3rd fret the whole time. F minor is like how we did it before. Middle finger on the E string, 4th fret, and then C string 5th fret with your ring finger. And then that A flat or A flat 9, I just remove the ring finger. And then you repeat it. So it goes, and you can tell everybody that this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done. And here I do that same walking movement with the C minor chord like we did in the verse. So I have the C minor and then your pinky and then the rest of your fingers kind of walk the notes down to kind of give that nice movement in the song. So it's a C minor 7 with the pinky on the 6th fret, ring finger, 5th fret, middle finger, 4th fret. So I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words. And then at E flat again, and I play it like this because there's an F minor coming up. How wonderful life is while you're in the world. And then that B flat suspended shape like the end of the verse. So I take that A flat chord and I move it up 2 frets. And then from here we play the intro again. So anyway, get back in tune. Okay, so this is the chorus all together, and I'll do it slowly. And so again, we can get a feel of the chord changes. Okay, here we go. You can tell everybody that this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is while you're in the world. And then the verse. So the second verse is exactly the same chords as the first one, except I add a little bit more of embellishments just to kind of make it sound different than the first verse. One of them being that C minor. But before that in the song, in the verse, I add one of those runs, and all that is just different voicings of G7. Okay, so the first shape is that G7 we learned. So open G, 2nd fret of the C string with your middle finger, 1st fret of the E string with your pointer finger. There was a bug on my ukulele. And then 2nd fret of the A string with your ring finger. Okay, and then this next shape is pretty similar to this one. All you're doing is doing that. So what you're doing is taking your middle finger and ring finger and you're sliding it from the 2nd fret to the 5th fret. So this shape stays the same. And your pointer finger is going to move from the 1st fret to the 3rd fret. So not quite the same. It stays a fret behind, but it looks like this. And then the next one is going to be a bar on the 7th fret with your middle finger on the 7th fret, 8th fret. Oh my gosh. Sorry, this is hard to keep track of. Anyway, bar on the 6th fret, 7th fret with your middle finger. That's the G7. And then your pinky again with the pinky, comes in on the 10th fret, that high G. Okay, so all together it sounds like this. Okay, and that just adds a little bit more interest in the song, because at this point everything's gonna sound pretty similar and stagnant. So okay, so another note for the second time around, when you're playing the chorus this time, at the end we hit a B flat, but in my cover and even the original song, Elton John plays the second part of the chorus again, and how that leads into is with a G7. So another G7 going into C minor, but this is going to be a different G7. So you're learning all your G7s today. So we have this shape of the B flat. It's a bar on the 5th fret with your middle finger playing the 6th fret of the E string. And all we're doing is moving this note up a fret. So then your ring finger is going to hit the 7th fret. And you have that nice G7 suspended sound. But it's a G7 at its core. And then you go back right to the C minor. So in the context of the chorus, it'll sound like this. It'll go from that E flat, F minor, A flat, the B flat, G7, C minor. Hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is, how wonderful life is. And then I hit that G7 again. How wonderful life is while you're in the world. Okay, and at that end, when I'm repeating how wonderful life is, it's just the last 4 chords of the chorus. So the E flat, F minor, A flat, and then the B flat. But then you throw in that G7 there to repeat. If you want to repeat, you could repeat more times if you want. If you want to keep repeating, keep playing the G7. Okay, and then the C minor. And then the ending is, again, with just the intro, that picking. Anyway, I think I messed that up a little bit. Well, thanks for sticking to the end of the tutorial. If you liked it, then go ahead and subscribe. And if you want to see more videos, then click on the videos popping up right here. And don't forget to like and comment down below. All the interaction and all the support really helps me and helps boost the video. So if you want to support, then go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment. And anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.